This is the after show for Monday Night Football. Vikings at Bears. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Throwback! Happy Halloween!
Yes.
And there definitely were some tricks going down tonight. If you're listening, the reason why the Batman theme is playing is because tonight, I'm not Jill Munroe. I am Batgirl, fully costume.
Oh, I just knocked the microphone away trying to introduce you.
Oh no!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the after show of Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings versus the Chicago Bears. It's still going on, but it's basically over. Bears are victorious. I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_. And next to me is Batgirl. Introduce yourself, please.
Better known as Jill Munroe. You can find me everywhere at Stiletto Jill, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, or send the bat signal in the sky. I got you.
And what's that blog I got to fill in for my
ShocksandStilettoJill.com, but we'll talk about that later. You can also find me there.
Nice. All right, so, I mean, Batgirl, she does know stuff about football. I mean, that's a stereotype. That girls don't know much, but, you know, you're a superhero.
I do. I'm a superhero, so I know a lot of things about a lot of things.
Right,
and what I know is that Jay Cutler played for his contract tonight.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
It was a contract. It had
future contract, future team.
It had nothing to do with him being a good teammate or him getting his head on straight and realizing that, you know, maybe I have to be a better teammate. Maybe I have to be a little more calm. Maybe I have to run an offense correctly and not make rash decisions.
Listen, I think that definitely has something to do with it, but not because he necessarily wants to be a better teammate, because he's playing for next season's contract and his future team. It's an audition. You come back, you show that you're valuable and you deserve money, and maybe it's the system, you know? Jobs are scarce in the NFL. Quarterbacks are, you know, a commodity.
You know, I've always respected your knowledge on the game, but you sound like so much more like authoritative when you're speaking in that costume. It's crazy.
You know, it's the bat. What can I say?
It's like you're speaking and I'm like,
listening. Yeah. You're transfixed.
You're right. You're right.
Take my advice. That's what's going down. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. There's times when, you know, sometimes situations you just burn out and it might be time to move on to someplace else. And I think that might be what's going on with Jay Cutler. We talked about this earlier, to your point. Very good QB, you know, when he does what he does.
Yes.
It's on point. But lack of motivation seems to be a problem with him.
Yeah, I don't know if it's lack of motivation. I mean, some think it's just an attitude problem. I think it's a little bit of that. I think the way he plays football in general is very erratic. He's out of the pocket. He makes split decisions that could either help his team a lot or really hurt his team. Kind of reminds me of Eli in that perspective. I'm a Giants fan.
Interesting. Yeah, you are.
But I think he definitely has the ability to lead a team to, you know, a playoff appearance,
to lead
an NFC.
On the field as a leader, or do you mean with his play?
With his play. I mean, he took the Bears to an NFC Championship game.
How long ago was that, Josh?
That was a while ago.
Okay.
All right, well, let's get into the actual game where surprising result, the Chicago Bears. I mean, we've ripped them and time again on this after show saying how terrible they are. And here they come. They beat the number one team as of this week.
Yes.
In the NFC, 20-10. It wasn't even close. I mean, it was a 10-point game, but this game was not close.
I mean, it took until, 5 minutes into the fourth quarter for the Vikings to even score?
Touchdown, yes.
Well, I mean, a touchdown, sorry. You know, they did those 5 punt returns in a row and advancing the ball. Yeah, I mean, something's going on. I don't know if they're still reeling from that beating that Philly gave them.
Yeah.
We know that Sam Bradford has not exactly been consistent in his short NFL career. A lot of that is due to injuries, to be fair. You know, I mean, when he got drafted to the Rams, it's not like that was a great team. However, what we saw from him in Philly, we had the uptick and then the inevitable fall.
And Chip Kelly took the blame for that, basically. I mean, at least in the media, it was deemed as his fault. So I guess Bradford got a pass for that. But now he has a team in Minnesota that I still think could reach the Super Bowl. I mean, they lost today. It didn't look too good, but I still think they're a Super Bowl contender.
I mean, it's week 8, so we're halfway through the season. Fatigue and all of those things have to be setting in. I think they had their bye already, didn't they?
Yes, I believe so.
So, you know, it's still a grind. So maybe we'll give the not the Bears, the Vikings that sort of passed for tonight.
Yeah,
just
they
an
only have
off
two
night.
losses.
They probably weren't even taking this game really seriously, even though they're a rival.
All right, well, I actually want to read a quote that John Gruden said during the game. I wrote it down because I'm like, this is so true about the Vikings. He said, if the Vikings cannot create turnovers or score with their defense, they will have trouble putting points on the board.
Wow.
Now, they didn't do that today. Their defense was not the usual defense that we've seen all year. They've been the best defense in the NFC.
They have,
point blank period.
and just for the Bears, just run 20 up on them.
Yeah. Even 20's not that much.
It's not high, but under the circumstances,
Yeah.
with the number one defense against the Bears, whose offense has had trouble getting started, not really as far as scoring. I had a stat. So their offense in the red zone. The Bears all season long have had problems scoring within the 20-yard line of their opponents.
So in the red zone.
So yeah, the red zone. Sorry, it's one of those nights. It's Halloween. Roll with me, vibe with me. Just let Batgirl do her thing. And for them to all of a sudden find their offense, granted, like to your point, Cutler's back.
Yeah.
But it's just still surprising that against the number one offense, still they can get 20 on you.
Yeah, and Jordan Howard with a huge game. I mean, in the first half alone, he had 11 carries for 97 yards and a touchdown.
Ooh. Do you have him on your fantasy team?
I do not. That is why I'm 500. I'm 4-4, and that's why I'm not winning money on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Are you playing DraftKings?
I am playing my first DraftKings situation. It is a group outing for the Thursday Night Football group, and I am last.
You were last?
I'm last.
Okay.
I'm last.
My favorite part about DraftKings, though, is like next week you're back at it.
Yeah,
You're back
we'll
at
see.
it. New lineup. You can pick new players. It doesn't matter what happened this week. Next week,
Yeah.
you go right back out there.
Here's
and
the
get 'em.
thing, though. I think that I might be the problem. I selected the Vikings secondary.
But I don't blame you. Listen,
was
they've been the best. They've been the best defense in the NFC. Period.
So, yeah, it sucked. That's all. Moving on.
All right. Well, I want to talk about the Vikings' offensive struggles. I mean, they punted 5 times in a row to kick off the game. They didn't really move the ball at all. The Bears' defense. I mean, we don't know anyone on the Bears' defense. I mean, I know Trevathan, the linebacker, who was from Denver, but besides that, I really can't name too many defensive players.
I knew no
off
one.
the top of my head for the Bears.
None. Couldn't tell you anything.
So was that shocking for you? I mean, the Minnesota offense isn't considered to be by any means a great offense. So,
I just feel like their entire game sort of fell apart tonight, and I partially blame that on them maybe not taking the Bears seriously. Do you
Okay.
know? Because, I mean, they are last in their division. They haven't been performing this season, and even though it's a rivalry, I just maybe, that mid-season kind of, I don't know, boredom set in or something. They're still shaking off the Philly loss. I don't know. But they didn't look like the team that we saw from preseason on through the first, 5-6 weeks of the season.
yeah, and I go back to Gruden's point, if the Vikings are not creating turnovers, maybe a big reason why they're putting up points on the board. I mean, obviously when your defense scores, you're going to put up more points, but it is helping out the offense. And maybe today, I'm not saying this is a verdict of mine, but, maybe it's possible the Vikings are getting exposed a little bit, especially in Philadelphia with all the turnovers Sam Bradford has.
Right.
Maybe their offense is not an offense that can carry their team in big situations, in big games, and they're going to have to rely on their defense a lot to make it further into the playoffs when they make it there.
Well, in theory, that should be okay.
Right. Well,
In
the Broncos
theory.
did it last year.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll have to see who next week. Who do they have? Did I put their schedule in there? Well, we'll get back to that.
Yeah,
but
we'll do next week later. Yeah, first half. I also want to get your take on Alshon Jeffery. Now, Alshon Jeffery in the first half, he struggled a lot. He's by far the best receiver on the Bears. He dropped an easy touch. I mean, I wouldn't say it was easy, but he dropped a touchdown pass that Alshon Jeffery usually catches. He then turned it on in the second half. He had a touchdown. Him and Cutler had a nice long connection in the third quarter. What is your take on him? Like, what do you think is wrong with him? Do you think that he should be traded? I know they talked about trading him.
I think that the Bears have a lot of dysfunction going on. And so, he's had to go from Cutler. Did he have a great connection with Cutler? Not so much this season. But now to the backup, and now they're switching back again. They just seem disjointed at the moment.
Yeah.
But they pulled it together.
Yeah.
I
mean, they did enough to win tonight. I mean, there's really not much else to talk about the game, the Bears were up 13-3 at halftime. They score on their first possession to make it 20-3, and it was 20-3 basically the rest of the game.
Yes.
Up until 5 minutes left. Vikings run a 2-minute drill. They score on 4th down with Stephon Diggs. Shout out to anyone who has him in fantasy.
Right.
And, it made it kind of a game at 20-10, but the Bears couldn't stop. I mean, the Vikings, that defense, again, couldn't stop the Bears 3 and out to get the ball back. And that was pretty much the game.
Yeah, which is amazing to me. So I just feel that they must not have been taking this matchup, even though it was Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
That's the only conclusion I can come to. I don't think we'll see this again.
I'm going to read some stats from the game. Sam Bradford, 22 for 36, 207 yards and a touchdown. That doesn't sound too bad, but he didn't play as good. I mean, and
watching
a lot
the
of
game
it was the line, though. He
True.
was under duress a lot
With
of the game.
O-line. Yeah. Watching the game, hearing the stat, but actually seeing the game, they kind of, in your mind, don't match up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Something is. I think that they just weren't taking it seriously because I can't find.
So that's
an
you're chalking
explanation.
up to that?
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing that kind of makes sense to me because to me this was a significant drop off. So that has to be something compared to mental lapse or something like that. Just the way it happened, the way that the win came about for the Bears, very unconventional for them. The fact that they've been having trouble scoring, the fact that everybody scores on the Bears. Everybody scores on the Bears, and the Vikings couldn't by touchdown until the end of the fourth quarter. That seems like that's a mental lapse.
Okay. Matt Asiata, running back for the Vikings, 14 attempts for 42 yards. Man, do they miss AP.
They do. He tweeted, "I still believe" during the fourth quarter.
Man,
what do
they
you
miss him.
believe, AP?
Maybe about the game.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, the season. The season's still looking bright for the Vikings.
It is.
But before the first half ended, I kind of skipped over this. I'll go back to it. They got it to the 2-yard line, first and goal at the 2, right before the half with about a minute 30 left. Usually it's like, all right, automatically give it to AP. And I think this was the first time I didn't watch the Eagles game where they had against the Eagles. So this is the first time I'm watching them lose. This is the first time I watched them, and I was like, wow, they really miss AP in this situation.
It's like, oh, shoot.
Because that's an automatic an automatic touchdown right there.
That's a drill. You just power it in.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that in your offense.
You don't. And then they handed the ball off to Asiata twice. No gain. Next play, they run a spread offense, which is not what the Vikings do. Sam Bradford gets sacked. They have to settle for a field goal, and it's 13-3 going into halftime instead of 13-7. 13-7 is such, it's a big difference.
That's a game. That's, you have 2 quarters, you can definitely pull ahead and take that over.
And then you're going into the locker room with more confidence. You're like, okay, we still got this. We didn't play a good half, but, we're only 6 points down. Whereas when you have to settle for a field goal, you kind of feel defeated. Like, man, we can't even score from the 2-yard line.
Right.
So I think today was the first time I noticed, wow, they really miss AP. Because they didn't really seem to miss him. Right
no, not before. Because, but they weren't really going to their run game. So
no,
I think that it, they were trying to work around it, but they probably maybe needed it more so tonight.
Yep.
Let's say that.
Stephon Diggs, 8 receptions, 76 yards and a touchdown. He's a stud. For the Bears, Jay Cutler, 20 of 31, 252, 1 touchdown. Good.
Not bad for you to come back.
Against that Vikings defense, though, no one has played well against the Vikings defense. So that's good.
Honestly, I give Cutler a hard time, but it was an impressive showing to come back. You can't. If you're going to come back for someone like him with the team that you have, you look at that and you say, okay, maybe I was wrong about what I thought about Cutler.
No, the thing about Cutler, though, he's so wildly inconsistent. So he'll have a game like this, and then next game he'll throw 4 interceptions against one of the worst rated defenses in the league. And I think that's what's so maddening about him.
It is, but he won't this time because he's playing for a contract. But
it's all about that money.
He's going to have to downplay it for a second because then Chicago might want to keep him, and then he'll be stuck in the same situation again. So you got to balance that out. Yeah.
All right, Jordan Howard. 26 attempts for 153 yards and a touchdown. Player of the game. Big first half for him, and then he had equally as big second half. So shout out to Jordan Howard, making a lot of fantasy teams happy. I know we studied that already, but I love fantasy football. So, and Alshon Jeffery, welcome back. 4 receptions, 63 yards and a touchdown. Could have played better, had a bad first half, but turned it up in the second half, giving some Bears fans hope that, for the rest of the season,
he'll pick it back up.
You think he will?
I think, I'm going to go back to my same point for tonight. I think that he'll get it together. They don't really, you do have a choice. But I feel like everybody is in a position, sort of the main key pieces on the Bears, where they have to look good for the future, or they want to be taken seriously by management to get what they need in to support this team. Because there's a lot of holes sort of on the Bears. I mean, we talked about their whole defense. Who are they? I think they showed a stat that no one's ever been on a Pro Bowl ever
they don't have a
on
Pro
their
Bowl
defense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is why,
yeah.
besides Trevathan, I couldn't really name anyone on the Bears.
I couldn't name anyone. Again, can you? You can. Tweet me.
Anyone listening or
Tweet
watching?
me. Did you know anyone from the Bears D-line? Let me know. Let me know. I want to hear.
And you can't be a Bears fan. You can't be a Bears fan. That's
In
the only
general.
rule I have. That's
Do you
the only rule I
know
have.
where do you have them in your top 5? I shouldn't say top 5. That's kind of high.
All right,
But,
so before we move on to the weekly recaps, let's just give a diagnosis of where these teams are. You got Chicago. I mean, still not a playoff team, right? They're not going to make a run.
No, they go on a bye next week, so maybe that's good for Cutler, you know, so that he, that would be his inconsistent week and he can come back. They come back, they face Tampa Bay and then your New York Giants.
Yes.
So we'll see. As far as the Vikings, their next game is against Detroit. That could be interesting.
Detroit's an
Detroit has
interesting
turned it
team.
on lately.
They're an interesting team.
They're inconsistent, but when they're on, especially I like Golden Tate. He grabs pom-poms on the sideline. Yes. He scores. Anyway, and that could be an interesting matchup. Then they face Washington and then the Cardinals, who have I don't know what's going on with the Cardinals
we'll
right now.
definitely get into that. We'll definitely get into that. And the Vikings. You just said the Vikings. So I think the Vikings are still
one of the teams to beat.
I think they're still a favorite to get to the NFC Championship game at least. I mean, right now it's looking like them and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, who else is
about
really
them
going to?
Cowboys?
I mean, they lost to the Eagles. You have to put the Eagles in that conversation, even though they lost to the Cowboys this week. But I still think, if you were to tell me I think the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl, I couldn't really be like, you're crazy.
Disagree. Yeah.
Because you can give me valid reasons why. And you never know, AP might come back.
He could. And, I mean, their schedule isn't so difficult that those are, that they don't have games that aren't winnable in their future. There's a couple of tough ones, but I think their defense could do something. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We won't count them out. They're,
All right, so I'm going to run down these scores for Week 8. If you hear anything that sticks out to you, you let me know. Tennessee Titans. Mike is on point, man.
Mike has been on point. So sad he's not here.
Yeah.
They came alive.
Yeah, 36-22, and they're looking like they could take that division.
He called that out, and ever since he has, it seems like they've been moving.
Yeah.
So
on the flip side, the Jaguars look terrible. Blake Bortles looked awful. They fired
their
offensive coordinator.
Why aren't you firing your head coach?
I think they are. I don't know why they didn't. I thought it was coming. I thought Gus Bradley was gone for.
I don't understand. His record is terrible.
Yeah.
The team hasn't grown. They have some pieces that if were coached decent, they should be further along than what they are. I'm not saying they should be playoff bound per se, but they should be a lot closer than what they are. They're like terrible.
I agree. And they have Doug Marrone, who's there, who they're basically saying is going to be the next coach. So we might as well make it.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, exactly. What are you waiting for? This season, I mean, it may not be completely lost in that division. They still have a chance. They just have to get hot, and they have to get hot right now. Moving on. Tie ball games. What's going on with this? Redskins and Bengals, 27-27.
Why? If you're waking people up that early to watch a game in London, first of all, what are you exposing our London pals to as far as the NFL? We always talk about how we send them terrible football.
In defense of the NFL, it's not like this is pro wrestling where they dictate the outcome before they take the field. But you're right. It's like they travel all the way to London to tie.
Like, what? Okay.
But, I mean, that tie doesn't really hurt anybody. Doesn't help anybody, really. The Bengals really needed a win to get back to 500, and the Redskins needed a win to keep pace with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, it doesn't kill you, but it doesn't help you
But
either.
it's not great.
No.
Yeah. Ties.
Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things. Patriots beat the Bills 41-25.
And that was also revenge because of what the Bills did to them earlier this season, even though Tom wasn't there. But,
Don't look now, but the Jets have won a couple in a row, 31-28 over the Cleveland Browns.
I think the Jets are another one of those teams to me that never seem to really pull it together. I don't know why they've stumbled. We can't say I don't know why, but the past 4 or 5 seasons, just you want to believe, and then it disappears. You know, Brandon Marshall was talking about how he doesn't want to be traded from the team. The trade deadline is obviously tomorrow. However, it seems like there might be some better opportunities out there for him that they could use.
But he's been very loyal to not only the Jets, but Fitzpatrick as well, wearing the Fitz Magic shirt. He's been outspoken of how he supports Fitz and how he's going down with that ship.
But I think that is his personality. He does that, you know, since he has rebounded in himself. He and Cutler, did they play together in Denver?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a different type of situation. But I feel like he learned from how Cutler felt supported and their kind of connection.
Okay.
So I think that is something that, not saying it's not sincere. Let me back it up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not sincere in his support of Fitzpatrick, but I think that part of that is, let me keep my guy up. Let me be a good teammate. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. The Chiefs climb the standings, win 30-14 over Indianapolis.
Quietly.
Yeah, they're right. They're a game behind the Raiders and the Broncos.
Quietly, the Chiefs are putting in work.
Yeah, just like last year. Last year, they got really hot and ended up making the playoffs, but they're a solid team. I mean, Spencer Ware left the game with a concussion. I'm more disappointed in the Colts. I mean, I understand that they don't really have a line and their defense isn't that good, but you know, Andrew Luck has led this team to the playoffs a few times, in the NFC Championship game one time. I thought they'd be better.
I think that it is really internal things.
Yeah, you say that a lot about
the Colts. Because you can't put that type of situation on your star player that's still fairly young and think that that's not going to cause any locker room strife, in my opinion. And I think that if the chemistry's not clicking, like Frank Gore, who left, I mean, not that the 49ers were great when he got rid of him, but he felt like he picked them because he thought this was a situation that
Super Bowl,
that, you know, that one time he was going to make it back. And now they're just kind of hanging around.
Frank's had a good season, though.
He has, but
it's more the defense than the offensive line. Moving on, Saints upset the Seahawks.
They did.
The Seahawks are lucky. The Cardinals are not, you know, they don't have their act together right now.
At all, so they still could come out okay.
Yeah, and Russell's hurt. He doesn't look the same. He's not playing well at all. I would be worried if I was a Seahawks fan, not for the division or playoff purposes, but just from the standpoint of, you know, Super Bowl aspirations. When your quarterback doesn't look like he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Do you think that there's a lot of personal things? I know I bring up this stuff a lot, but you know, he's a newlywed. He has a new baby on the way.
No, I think it's him being hurt.
You think it's just that he's hurt?
He's not as mobile. You know, and a lot of Russell's game is improvisation and like out of the pocket and making things happen with his legs, and he just can't do that.
So why are the Seahawks taking that chance? I mean, he's their future. They just paid him all that money.
They need to win games.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if they get enough space in the division, because the Cardinals aren't playing well at all, where they can like rest him a week against a bad team like the 49ers.
I think that that's something that they're going to need to do because if he's hurt like that as the season wears on, it's like, you're winning games just to go to the playoffs and flame out.
Right. So I would actually suggest that. Pete Carroll, take my advice, rest him for a little bit. That's all. The Raiders save us from another tie game. They beat the Buccaneers 30-24 in overtime with basically 2 minutes left to go in the game.
Yeah.
I thought we were headed for another tie. I was like,
Derek Carr is one of my sleeper MVP candidads.
I don't even know if he's a sleeper anymore.
Well, he's not. I mean, true, but
him, Matt Ryan, but he's having a heck of a season. 5 touchdown passes.
Killing it.
Yes. Raider fans got to be happy. I mean, they're not happy about the potential move to Las Vegas. But
well, some of them are. I saw on Twitter a packed bar at 10 a.m. for Las Vegas Raider fans.
Get out of here.
That are ready to go and support the team. I mean, listen, I have my heart broken by both the Raiders and the Rams when they left LA. So, Oakland, your turn.
Oh, man. All right, so then you got the Texans 20-13 over the Lions, who we just talked about. I can't figure out the Texans. I think I've always talked about the Texans as a playoff team, but a team that loses in the first round. They really don't have that high of a ceiling, but they don't have that low of a floor. They're just They're just kind of there riding the middle. I mean, can you give them a pass because Brock Osweiler is new? Not just new. I don't think he's that good.
Well,
personally.
you know, he looked pretty decent, I guess, in Denver to some. They gave him a lot of money.
You know, I'll give him credit that he did help the Broncos win the Super Bowl, even though he wasn't the quarterback in the playoffs. He did help them a lot during the regular season when Peyton was out and did play pretty well. But, I mean, he's not having a good year. I mean, you have DeAndre Hopkins on your team, and he's having a quiet year. That shouldn't happen, especially with a wide receiver who last year tore up the league with 4 different quarterbacks.
Maybe I think it might just be adjustment. I mean, it obviously is more Brock if, 4 different quarterbacks allowed somebody to light it up like that. But I think that it's just maybe a growth process. How long? I don't even remember how long he was in Denver for.
I mean, he only played last year.
Last year? Oh.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't just last year, but he really only got playing time.
Last year.
Yeah.
But it's still different when you've been there for a while and you kind of, practice, knowing the routes, knowing the people. I don't know. Maybe it's a disconnection point for him, and we'll give him a slight wait and see.
Okay. Broncos 27-19 over the Chargers.
I mean,
typically, you expected that, right?
Yeah.
The Chargers
what
put
do
up
you
a fight.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers turned the ball over 3 times, 3 bad interceptions. And you know what? Honestly, I thought the Broncos were trying to lose this game because I think they should have won this game by 20 points.
I mean, I feel so bad for Phillip Rivers sometimes. Like, his career is just like
he's definitely underappreciated.
Yeah,
he really is. He had his chances to win a Super Bowl with LT and Sean Merriman, those teams.
And now?
You never know. Maybe he has a couple left in the tank.
Yeah.
Just not this year.
Not this year at all.
Great game. Falcons 33, Packers 32. Matt Ryan, touchdown pass to Sanu to win it with 30 seconds left. So I guess the Falcons are for real.
Okay, we're at week 8.
They're for real.
Check back with me at week 10.
Oh, Jill, Jill.
I'm just saying, we've watched the Falcons just fall off completely, like a hard fall off. So I am cautious with the Falcons. Can I tell you guys, my face is sweating so much in my mask, but I don't want to take it off.
That's the price you pay.
We don't know.
That is the price you pay. Packers, I mean, they're looking...
We've talked about this. I think that there needs to be a change as far as a shakeup. Yeah, there needs to be a shakeup.
Cobb was out. Montgomery's out. They lost Lacey, so their offense obviously is not going to click as much. But they did put up 32 points, so it's not like the offense was a problem. So you think McCarthy's gone?
I do. I mean, if he stayed, we've seen mediocrity hang around in some places for forever. But I think that there's obviously some type of need for freshening. And we've seen that happen a lot in the NFL as of late. They will turn coaches over very, very quickly because we're in win now mode.
Yes.
And there's no time to develop. And this is a team that has been, for the most part, in their current state for quite some time. So.
Okay. And then final game before we get into predictions for next week. Cowboys 29.
Yes.
Eagles 23 in overtime. Dak Prescott, I'm calling it right now. Which isn't too bold, but Rookie of the Year.
That was a great game.
Right?
I mean, it's okay.
He's got to be leading right now.
He has to be leading. Him, Carson, and,
Zeke?
Maybe Zeke.
Nah, maybe. He's definitely up there.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Zeke's someone that's on my fantasy team.
There you go.
Anyway, one of those two, you're leaning towards Dak. I'm still impressed with Dak.
Yeah.
But I still don't want to forget that he's a rookie, and we're only in week 8.
Right.
And the hype is building.
I got to take it there because it's been taken there for the past 2 or 3 weeks. You start Tony Romo when he comes back.
I don't think that you do. I think you roll with the hot hand.
Once you go Dak,
you don't go back.
But I think that question needs to stop being asked.
I think so too.
What else does Dak have to do? There's nothing.
And I think Romo should lead the charge for it in a mature move, but
he's not going to do that.
I mean, well, here's the thing. I think as a good veteran who's coming back from injury, because you think about it too, has he even started rehab yet? I mean, with his injury history, how can you confidently, right now with Dak as hot as he is, say, nope, Dak back to the bench?
You can't.
So we'll see. I think Jerry is getting on board the hype train. I think he sees it warming up.
You saw how happy he was when they won the game yesterday?
I think he sees it warming up.
Yep.
And, there's always time to Jerry Jones it. But we'll see.
All right, so let's get into predictions for next Monday night's game. It's the Seahawks versus the Bears.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV.
You love the lights, the effect.
All right, so the Buffalo Bills travel to Seattle and take on the Seahawks. Who you got?
So, I think the Bills just had a down week last week, and the Seahawks have been kind of shaky. I'm rolling with the Bills.
Really? Because I am too, and I thought you were going to take the Seahawks, and I was like, I got the upset. But we both got the upset.
We both have the upset. I just do.
I think Rex's defense, Rex and Rob's defense, are going to put a lot of pressure on Russell. He can't move very well. He struggled passing the football this year. I just don't see a way they put up points. I'm not sure if McCoy's going to be back, but the offense wasn't really the problem this week against the Patriots. It was the fact they were playing the Patriots.
Right.
And I don't know. I think the Bills go in there. They're 4-4. They need this win.
I think they take it too.
Yeah. I was hoping you would disagree with me.
I don't know. I think the Bills have this one. You know, as much as I would like the Seahawks too for personal reasons.
Yeah.
But nah. I think that they got this.
All right, cool. Well, that's it, Jill. Good job. Batgirl. We killed it.
We killed it
nice.
tonight.
I think Batgirl has a future.
Do you think
as
so?
a sideline reporter
Oh, wow.
for Fox Sports.
Good thing. We'll have to get a different mask, though, because the sweat is pouring.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. The Monday Night Football after show. The Minnesota Vikings lose to the Chicago Bears 20-10. But it's okay. I still think they're going to make the NFC Championship game. I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_.
I'm Jill Munroe, and you can find me everywhere at Stiletto Jill, and check out jocksandstilettojill.com for all your sports and pop culture gossip.
All right, join us next week for the Bills at Seahawks. Take care.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.